Hello everyone, welcome to Cabbage Patch Soap. My name is Laura and today we are making soap dough. Some people call it soap clay. Just going to check my chat settings. Now today I was planning to make the dinosaur soap, but the method I was going to use to make it, I was working on that earlier today and I decided it was inferior to what I wanted it to be. So I changed everything and I've ordered some different equipment to make this with, and we will do it when I get the new equipment because I want the dinosaur soap to look really nice since it was a request. So it'll be a little bit longer, unfortunately, but I will be showing you guys how to make and how to use this soap dough. And this will show you a little bit what I do with some of my soaps, how I make them with the soap dough. Hi, Stacy. Hi, Christina. I'm doing great. How are you guys doing? I've got my live chat going here, so hopefully it's going to show me what you guys are typing. I'm just going to grab a couple other things. I wasn't 100% sure if we were going to use it or not, so I'll just grab it just in case. So while I'm doing this, I'll explain a little bit about soap dough. Soap dough can be used to create designs, or you could even use it to make complete soap bars. But usually the way I use it is certain design elements in the bar of soap. So I can make little animals or I can make shapes and either put it inside the soap bar itself or put it on top as a decoration. So for example, the Lighthouse soap that I made, the lighthouses were made out of soap dough. And there are several ways to do this. Let me just get this one out. So I'm just going to grab a couple different things. And I'll show you. Try to decide what will look best, what will be easiest to see on camera. I think we'll go with this one. Since I can't zoom, I don't want to do anything small. Okay. And this. Okay. Let's just see. I think I'll get this. Okay. Hi, Paulette. Welcome. Wow. 4 degrees outside. That'll be nice and cold. All right. Okay. I think I got everything else settled. Let me get the. I will also get the mat. 1 second. Trying to decide if I need any of the paper. Let me just grab one just in case. Should just take a minute here. I'll use the one that we put the blue hearts on. Okay. All right. Hi, Lorna. Hi, Tanya. Welcome. Wow, 17 degrees. It's almost like it's winter for some of us. All right, what I'm going to do first, I think, is just show you how the soap dough works, and then we'll make it. Yeah, that's probably the best way to do this. So I'm going to push some of this aside. That'll give this time to cool down anyway. So soap dough is sort of like clay, or like Play-Doh, modeling clay, things like that. It's already soap, but it hasn't had a chance for the water to evaporate, so it's still pliable, and that allows you to make little shapes and to do cutouts and all sorts of fun things. Hi, Patty. Welcome. All right, so let me go ahead and show you this. These are some of the soap doughs or soap clays that I've made in the past. You can see you can kind of smush them. This is the orange. This is my red, blue, purple, and teal. And I don't have very much of this left, so I'm going to make a new batch of these colors. But first, let me show you how these work. So, let's see, I think this will show up pretty well. Okay, so normally what I do is I decide, of course, on the project I'm going to make. And then I take some of the soap dough, and you can see some of the other colors that got mixed in here, because normally if I'm working with soap dough, I'm working with multiple colors, and I end up transferring some of the soap, of the other colors onto the ones I'm working on. So, but that's not a problem. It typically doesn't show up once you're done, because you're going to kind of mush this together. So I usually decide how much I want to use, and I just kind of break off little pieces like this. And I'll show you two different things that I'll use with the soap dough. You can cut these by hand, so you can decide on the shape you want and just use a knife or something to cut it by hand. But I guess I don't trust myself enough for that, so I don't do it. Just going to read what you're saying real quick. Okay. So the next thing I do is I like to knead it in my hands like this to get it kind of warmed up a little. This will help it. See how it kind of breaks? Warming it up some tends to help it not break as much. And then once it's at a point where I think it's, going to roll out nicely, I'll usually roll it out. But it just depends on what I'm making. So I'm going to go ahead and roll it out with this paper. And I use this because it helps me roll it flat without getting my tools and my work surface all dirty. And I'll just put it roughly in the middle and smash it down a little bit like that. And then I've got one of these rolling pins. If you guys ever work with like art clays or Sculpey comes to mind, but there's a word for it, the baking clays, polymer clays, that's what I'm thinking. The polymer clays, these are some of the tools that you can use with them. So I will just roll it out. And for most of these things, it does not need to be exact, but if I want all the pieces to be approximately the same size or the same thickness, this is very, very helpful. And I'm just going to peel back the paper, and now we've got a little tiny slab of soap that's really thin. It's pretty thin. So the next thing I do is I'm gonna cut or stamp out the clay, and usually I'll use these little cookie cutters. I'll get these custom made by somebody. Usually go to like Etsy or something like that and find someone who will design or make cookie cutters for me, and then I can get cookie cutters that are perfect for whatever my project is. And what I do, and everybody's a little bit different in how they handle this, is I like to spray my tools with rubbing alcohol, and I find that helps this cut out the soap without it sticking. Other people use different things. You do not have to use this. You could just not use it at all, but I find that no matter what I do, the soap will stick to my tools unless I use something like rubbing alcohol, or you could probably use oil or something. I don't, like maybe some olive oil or something, but this is what I use. So I spray the tool really good, and I'll just push this through the clay, and then it leaves a little impression like that. If it sticks to the paper like this is doing, I can either peel it back and peel off the shape, or what I like to do is I have a little spatula, like a little palette knife that I use for my soap. And let me go grab it because I left it in here for some reason. Let me see where I put it. Okay, so let me go grab it. So I will use this little palette knife. Some people use these for mixing their micas with oil, but I typically don't do that unless I'm going for something super exact. Okay, so then I'll just slide this under, and I'll be able to pull out the shape. And now we have a nice little diamond shape. And then I can use this to put on top of the soap to give like a little diamond design to the top, or whatever. If I want to make a whole row of them through the soap, I'll cut out a whole bunch and stack them up. And for something like that, I typically won't use the rolling pin because the rolling pin makes this really thin. So I'd have to do a million cuts. So if I have something like that where I have to make a big row of them, I'll leave the soap a little bit thicker. And I can still use this even if I want to go thicker. I can just take this. I think I'm tearing the paper. Yep. Okay. All right. So I can take this and just lay it on top of itself. And then take this tool, the cutter, and just spray it. And then push down. And then you can see it comes out much easier with the thicker pieces. And then I just gently push it out. And then I've got another really cute diamond shape. Trying to get that to show up. There you go. I'm just checking your comments real quick. Oh, you guys are talking about the weather? Yeah, it's really cold. I don't know what temperature it is over here. I haven't looked out. It was snowing earlier, though. Snow is always good. Okay, so then another tool I'll use. We just flatten this a little bit. Oh, another reason for using the paper is if I use a different paper and I switch between colors, then I don't have to worry about this transferring to my other colored soap as often. Okay, so there's these little tools here that are used for fondant. And I just kind of get the approximate thickness. And this is a leaf design, and it has like the little veins of the leaf are on it. So just like before, I'll spray it really good. Push down, and I don't know if this is enough to transfer the design, but I think it'll be okay. All right, so yeah, there we go. So it comes out as one big piece like this, and then to get it out, you just turn it over and you push down with the plunger to get that design on, and then you lift this up carefully, and you can get the leaf off. And now, well, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's a design on the clay. And these are cute for lining on, along the top of your soap. You can get little flowers and leaves going, and it's really, really cute. Uh-oh. Somebody's mad. or their car is broken, one of the two. All right, we could try that again. And the nice thing about the soap dough is, you know, you can just smush it back together like you see me doing. And so if you don't like what you made, you just smush it all back together and start over. It's a very forgiving process, but it's a little bit time consuming. Okay, so that's approximately level on top. We'll just spray this down again. Push down. Oops. There we go. All right, so there's this little leaf. We'll push down on top to get the design and then push it out. And then you got another cute little leaf. It's got serrated edges and you can see the little leaf, or at least I can see anyway, the leaf veins. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on it, but it's really cute. And so you could do like this on top of the soap, put a couple leaves, maybe put some flowers going along. And you can also do, you can also add like 3D dimension by layering them a little bit like this and getting them to stick together. And so you get you can get unique designs that way. So you can see it close. And then once you leave them on top of the soap, as the soap cures and as it, you know, sits on the shelf and dries and everything, this will adhere to the soap. It'll stay, and it's actually made of soap. So I could take this right now and you know, run this under some water and lather up, and it'll lather up just like soap because it's basically just soap. It's just a soft form. But as you leave it out, it hardens. So that's why these are wrapped in plastic. And when I have the containers full of these, I will I'll put the plastic on the top and then put the lid on, and that just helps it get a really good seal so that it stays pliable. So that's how the soap dough works. And one of the fun things about this is you can really make a lot of cool custom designs. You could write your name out of soap. As long as your cookie cutter will go through it, you can use cookie cutters to make whatever, you know, shapes you want. And yeah, so there's like a lot of, I don't know, there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. You could build with it. If you like to sculpt, like if you like to make, like here, I'll show you. If you like to make little sculptures, so like if you were doing a winter themed soap, oh, my cat's saying hi. If you do winter themed soap, you could do a snowman. So just roll these into a ball. Oh, this is cooled off a little bit. I need to warm it back up. But you could just make yourself a little ball. If this was white, obviously, so it looked like the snow. But just checking this chat real quick here. Hi, Melissa. Welcome. I'm just showing you guys how the soap dough works. So then you just stick this on top here. You can use a little bit of water on a paintbrush and paint the water on just a little tiny bit just to kind of help that stick. And now you've got like the beginnings of a snowman. And you could then take, you know, you'd work with different colored soap dough, of course. But you can make like a little top hat. You can make all kinds of things. So you can make like 3-dimensional art out of these, and they're actually bars of soap. And these, I leave them unscented because I don't want the fragrance to conflict with any of the, you know, fragrances of the bar of soap I make. So these are always left unscented, but I color them beforehand. So basically I make the batch and then I add the colors, and that way when I need soap dough, it's ready to use, it's already colored. You can make the soap dough plain and just leave it completely plain and then mix the color in as you need it. The reason I don't do that is because it just takes so long to mix it in by hand for me. And my hands aren't as strong as they used to be. So, you know, massaging mica into soap dough for, you know, 10 minutes or something is not something I can, you know, realistically do. So I do make soap dough that is also like white and black. So if I wanted to lighten or darken a color, I could. And you can take different colors here and mix them. So I could take this yellow, or this orange rather, and mix it with some red and get like a darker orange. And some of these already, they were used for other projects. So this one has a little bit of the red and black mixed together because I think that was for the agate soap. And and I can use that still. I can either leave it the way it is and make a design with soap that has streaks in it, or I can finish mixing it together and get a really dark red. So those are a couple different options I have. Okay, let me just smush this back together. So since these are running low, and I have a couple projects coming up where I know I'm going to need soap dough, I decided we would make the soap dough tonight. And that will just honestly make things easier later on when I go to make the dinosaur soap, and also for the other requests that we've had. And why? Sorry, my cat. You're not supposed to be in here. Anyways, I'll put her away real quick. Right, Tanya. Yeah, it's just like fondant, but you don't want to eat. I mean, I guess most people don't want to eat fondant either, but this is for a totally different reason. You don't want to eat fondant. All right, I'm going to take this glove off because every time I clean this, I'm getting orange soap on it when I transfer it to my other hand. So let me just clean this off real quick. And I clean everything with rubbing alcohol. It does a really good job without making the tools wet because I don't want to risk everything getting rusty. And so far it's been working pretty good. There we go. Okay, so that looks better. And I'll set that aside. And I'll put this away. And then I'll get a new set of gloves on and make the new soap dough. So this will get used up in some projects, but I want to make sure I have enough, because if I have to stop and make soap dough, it takes at least a day to set up. So, I don't want to be, especially now when it's cold out, it takes longer. So I don't want to be held back, and not be able to do a soap for you guys because I'm waiting on soap dough. So I prefer to have it. I have like a little shelf where I keep it, and whenever I need it for a project, I just go and get it. It holds really well. All right. Okay. Set this aside. And we'll clean this real quick. And these tools have a little spring inside of them, which is another reason I don't like to wash them with water, because I'm pretty sure that water would not be good to the spring. So fortunately, since this isn't ever touching anything like food like fondant does, it doesn't need to go through the dishwasher. Yeah. Okay. All right, that's better. Okay, so that one's done, and then we'll do the cookie cutter. And these cookie cutters are great because you can actually use them as a stamp on your soap. So I'll stamp the outside of the soap with these as well. So I use this to make a birthstone soap. And then when I was done with the bars, I stamped the outside of the bars with it. So it kind of, you had the design in two places. It was really cool. I like it when my tools can be used for more than one thing whenever possible. Okay. All right. So just making sure I'm reading up the chat real quick. How long is a shelf stable? Well, Lisa, the soap, I mean, it's hard to say. Soap doesn't really necessarily go bad. It's not like a food where it has like a certain shelf life that's easily determined. It depends on a lot of things. It depends on like the oils that you put in them, how you made it. If there was anything in the water. That's why I use distilled water, and just other things. I mean, soap doesn't really go bad. It can get ugly, like sometimes after a long, long time, it'll get kind of discolored or something, but that doesn't affect the usability of the soap. It just affects how it looks. So it just depends on what you mean by going bad. I don't know if it's ever unsafe to use. I mean, if it starts growing stuff, but I've never had soap do that. Yeah, the soap dough, because soap dough is literally just soap. So like when you see me make those bars of soap, this is the exact same recipe as my soap bars. The only difference is I don't let it dry out. Because normal soap you have to let it sit and dry out so it's usable, because otherwise it'd be soft. And this I just don't let it dry out. So it's the same exact. It is actually just soap. It's just called soap dough because of the texture. You know, the state that we leave it in. I guess you could say it's more of a process rather than an actual item. Hi, Ian. Welcome. Yeah, Melissa, I'm making more to have on hand because that soap dough. There's a couple of projects I wanted to make, and they're going to use up a lot of soap dough, and I just wanted to make sure I had extra. So, um, oh, how it gets reconstituted? You don't actually have to reconstitute it, because if you reconstitute it, it would just be so. Basically, this it just stays like this in these little. I wrap them in plastic, and then I'll put them in these containers. So you'll see, like, here's one, a plastic container, and I'll put it in the container, and that way it's airtight and it can't dry out. As long as it doesn't dry out, it'll always be soft like this, and it won't dry out. As soon as you leave it outside the container, it'll start to harden up like a bar of soap. So you never have to reconstitute it. If it gets hard and you can't use it, instead of reconstituting it, you just put it next to your sink and use it as a bar of soap, because it would get if you tried to reconstitute it with water, you could probably get it mushy again, but it just wouldn't be the same. It would be really hard to get it nice and smooth. I guess you could do like a rebatch. You could like grate it up and then mix it with a little bit of water and do like a hot process, but that would be so much work. It would be easier just to remake it. Let me see. Oh yeah, I was putting this away. I'm just going to put these away real quick because they're on my work surface and I don't want to knock them over by accident, because I know I'll do that. Okay. I'll show you what I mean about the stuff I already have made. So for example, I use a lot of black soap dough for various things. This is the black soap dough. It's in a plastic container, and then I also put plastic on top to keep it up against the top layer of soap. It looks firm, but if I push it, you can see it leaves a dent. It's still very pliable. So as long as I leave that plastic up against it and I leave the lid on, this should stay good for months. So this will always be good to use unless it dries out. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, it's a confusing concept at first. I always thought it was a special recipe, like you had to do something special to make it soap dough and blah blah blah. But nope, you can just use whatever soap you make. You can just use that recipe. I should test that, actually. That thought. Make 100% coconut oil soap and see if it stays soft. Okay. So next, we have to make the soap. So I need a new pair of gloves. How'd the show recording go, Ian? Oh, your first ever soap lesson. That's awesome. We all have to start somewhere. Honestly, I wish I could have found this kind of help when I was first starting to make soap, because I had to learn from books, and the videos on YouTube never seemed to really explain anything. And I was very confused and there was no way to ask questions. So I'm happy to answer any questions you guys have. I'd rather that than have you wonder. Yeah, Tanya also makes soap as well, and I think if I remember correctly, she said she does baking too and decorating. So she's probably the one to go to for things like soap icing. Since yeah, icing is not my strength. Okay, I'm going to sound like I'm in a tin can right now because I got this face shield on. All right. Yeah, laundry soap. You can make laundry soap the same way I'm making bar soap. You would just want to make it 100% coconut oil with no super fat. And what a lot of people do is they'll grate it up and then they'll mix it with things like borax because the borax is really, really good at, um, it's like a laundry booster. You can also use washing soda. It's like baking soda, but slightly different. And uh, and then people will also add baking soda to that. And yeah, you can make um, your own laundry detergent. But um, but then to be honest though, doing it that way I found was always kind of expensive. So it just depends on if you're doing it to save money or if you're doing it because you want to control the ingredients in your soap. Whether or not it's worth it to you to do it. But I've made it both ways. I've done that, and then I've also just purchased the separate items and made it myself just from stuff from the grocery store, and that works too. Um, I had really good luck with that, with it both ways. Yeah, borax. Yeah, the homestead videos are very helpful. A lot of them make their own soaps, or they do a lot of their own like home cooking and canning. There's a lot of fun stuff on those homestead videos. But yeah, borax is amazing. The one of the so borax, huh? That's a tangent. I don't know if I should go off on a huge tangent, but yeah, you can add borax to your laundry. It really helps get it clean. You can also soak your laundry in it. So if you have some laundry that just isn't coming clean, like sheets or something that can take sitting in detergent for a long time, you can soak it in like a little bit of borax in like your tub or in like a bucket, and like throw in some laundry detergent and just let it soak for a while. That will really help get it clean. Borax also kills roaches. So if you're ever living in a place like an apartment or something where maybe other people have roaches and they're coming into your apartment or whatever, you can put borax down and that'll kill them. It's really the only thing that works, and it's not nearly as toxic as putting certain other things down, but you want to keep it away from pets. Yeah, canning is a lot of fun. I want to start canning. I just need a place to put all the cans or jars, I guess technically. Oh yeah, Tanya says she uses a different recipe for her soap dough. You can do that absolutely. You can use a different recipe. I just don't because then I don't have to list different ingredients on my on my soap when I package it. So work smarter, not harder. But yeah, depending on how soft you want your soap dough to be, um, and what properties you want it to have, you absolutely can do a different recipe. I just didn't, just because I guess efficiency reasons. Okay, so here are the oils, and I've been holding it because I'm making sure that it's not not still hot. I recently melted this, and this feels just above the temperature of my hand, so that's totally fine. And this is the live water; it feels totally fine. I don't typically measure my oils, and I've done hot and cold mix before. I've done way above the temperature recommended, way below. It doesn't make any difference to me, except that sometimes the soap will come to trace faster or slower, or you'll get a false trace. Like if everything's really cold, you can get a false trace, which just means you have to mix a little bit longer. None of it is like earth-shatteringly terrible. The only time it's bad is when you want to do an intricate design. You don't want them both to be really hot because it'll accelerate the trace. The soap will solidify more quickly than you can do your design sometimes. So yeah, Stacy, it is. YouTube is great for learning all kinds of things. That's very true. Okay, so here's the different colors we're using. And I'll leave links down below where you can find this stuff. So this is called Orange Vibrance from Nurture Soap. That's what the orange is, the orange that we were just working with. Excuse me. This is Proud Peacock, which is a teal color. I don't know how that's going to look on camera. I keep showing it to you guys, but I don't know if it's showing up correctly. Trial by Fire, which is like a mica, a mica and dye blend. I think it's a blend, but basically I use this one because it gives you a really true red, and it doesn't usually bleed into other colors. Because that was one of the things I hated. I'd make a really cool soap design, add red, and then everything would be a funny shade of red or pink by the time I was done. This doesn't seem to do that. Got Brilliant Blue by Nurture Soap. It's a really, really like bold, true blue color. And Purple Vibrance, which is a really, really nice, rich purple. And I choose these ones because, well, originally it's because it's what I had on hand. But the reason I bought these colors is because to me they seemed like the most like versatile colors. So the blue is really a blue, the purple is really a purple, the red is really a red. So if I go to mix them with other colors, there's less of a chance that they'll get muddy. And they're really nice and bold and clear. So when I make my soap designs, the colors really stand out. You can really see them. And if I need to mute them down, I can either mix them with the color from the opposite color wheel. So I can mix I can mix green with like a red or a little bit of red or something, and it'll mute down the green. Or I can add something like white or black and get a different shade. And they're just really easy to work with, those colors. So that's why I chose those. I'm just gonna read what you're saying here. Oh wow, 80% of your trees. That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing what happens. We take all this stuff for granted, you lose your power, you lose everything, and you can't just drive down to the store because the store doesn't have electricity either. It's a good reason to have some little bit of stockpile in the back. Yeah, it's really important to be, at least a little bit self-sustainable, right? Like, it's good to have some kind of stock. Yeah, that would have been horrible to go through for sure. Geez, a hurricane. Wow, it's so amazing. All the trees, like, they've been growing there forever and ever, and it just takes, one stupid storm to mess everything up. All right, so I'll go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and mix these up. So these are my oils, my typical, vegan oils. It's a coconut oil, olive oil, palm oil, and castor oil. And then this is just the lye water. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. All right, and then I'm going to just stick blend this. I'm just going to get this mixed because I've also got these little pots of color. And I put the color in these cups so that all I have to do is pour in the soap batter, and then we'll mix them in by hand. And then if I need to stick blend them, I can. So headphones warning, I guess. This might be a little bit loud. Okay, now this does not have to be perfectly mixed because we are going to mix it again in the little pots, but I'm going to see. Maybe a little bit longer. Okay, that's pretty good. It's nice and thick. All right. I'm going to set this down. So there is the orange and red, purple, blue, and teal. I'm just going to pour a little bit in each one and try to get them about even-ish. And then I can go back and top off any of the others that are low. If I was being careful, I could weigh this out, but it's not going to matter. I'm going to go grab my spatula real quick so we can scrape this out. Okay. Okay. I'm just going to start with the teal. So you can see that turned out nice right away. Nice, bold teal color. And then we'll go to this blue color. All right. Trying to stay in frame here. Let me move my chair and stuff over. All right, there we go. You can see this is a nice, rich, like a true blue. Hopefully that's showing up correct on camera. And then here's the purple. Wait, you know what? I don't need this on anymore. There we go. That's better. All right. All right. Mixing this purple together. And that's just a really nice, rich purple. On my screen, it looks like a different shade of blue, but in real life, it's definitely very purple. I'll try to get most of this off here. Oh, I left my rag over there. Let me go grab it. Try to get most of this off of there. I try not to transfer too much of the color. Okay. Good enough. Oh, don't need that one. Okay, red. Red is next. And that gives a really nice, bright, bold, very like true red, in my opinion. And it looks good with the other colors, which is also really important. I don't like my colors to be too different because then they like different families of color. I don't know how to describe what I'm explaining, but basically, I like the colors to look good together. All right, this is the orange. All right. So that's how that orange came out. And then what I'll do is, yeah, I think those are mixed up well enough. Okay, so knock down the air bubbles if there are any. And then I just like to take a spatula and go over the colors down the sides and make sure that there's like the colors that creep up the side here from me mixing it, that make sure that goes down. Because there we go. All right, I'll just scrape that off into here. And then I'm going to use that for something later. Okay, and then the blue. Okay, that's nice and flat. I'll do the purple. And I'll check the chat in just a minute. I want to make sure I get this done before it sets up. Okay. Okay, here's the red. Okay, and then the orange. There we go. Okay, so those are all the colors. I will put in a minute or two. I will put plastic wrap over the top to let it, let it sit up against the surface of the soap, and then I will put all the lids on. So the lids look just these little plastic lids. And what I do is on the sides, I write the color that says orange. I don't want to tilt it more and dump it out, but you get the idea. And then that way I know what's in them. Normally, I would recommend clear containers for this so you can see what's in them. But when I went to purchase containers, they just didn't have clear available. They were sold out, and just supply issues right now are going on. So this is totally fine. I can just write what's on them on the outside. I'm just going to catch up on chat here real quick. Just reading here. Yeah, Tanya, Easter is coming. I do have some ideas for some Easter soaps. I did make Easter colors last year, so I could do the same thing again this time. Yeah, bunny soap, Stacy, that would be cute. Melissa, are you talking about the cat that's crying, his little kitty face? Yeah, he's not happy, but he's not in any peril. He's just mad because he wants to be able to roam around out here and can't do that if I'm making soap. So he unfortunately has to sit in there until I'm done. At some point, I would like to have a little closed off studio area where, um, that way we wouldn't have, the cats wanting to join in. Like a little, I don't know, not a craft room necessarily, but like a little area. Because I feel bad having him literally right there. He knows I'm here, but he can't get in. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of audio that gets edited out when I do my pre-recorded videos. So now you have to hear it. Unfortunately, that's a downside of the live, is that you get to hear all the background noise that most people don't want to hear. So, and I can't cut out the boring parts. That's true, Ian. That is true. Well, you could still see them probably. I could go, get one and bring it in. But at least the cats wouldn't be out there suffering. Like, they're just in the next room, but they're out there wondering why they're being punished. They're not being punished. They're just, we're working with lye and other things. And plus, I don't like, I don't know. I don't like the idea of there being cat hair and stuff in the soap. So keep everything separate. What I'm doing over here where you can't see is I have a little tiny mold that I'm putting this little bit of extra soap in. And if this works, I can show you on the next slide. I don't know if it's going to because this mold is so tiny. Oh, that's cute, Melissa. You got a dog and a cat? Oh, thank you, Ian. That's fine, Ian. Yeah, good luck with getting that all done. The last ones were really good too. I did go back and watch them. One of my favorite topics. So it was really cool to see you go into more detail about them. Okay, I don't know if this is going to go in the mold or not. I don't think it's going to. Oh, we'll just have to be happy with what we got so far. All right, let's see here. Just seeing what you guys are saying. Yes, Stacy, I did. Cute cat. That'd be cute, Christina. We could probably do something like that. Put little chickens, little baby chicken soaps inside of eggs. That'd be cute. I think for the next video, trying to decide what we should make. Um we could probably, that'd be 2 days from now. Maybe we could do a body butter, or there was a couple soap designs. I got the stuff to make the flamingo soap also, but it won't be here for a few more days. So one of you guys wanted a flamingo soap, so I decided to go ahead and get the things for that. Do you guys have any other suggestions? I got a couple ideas for Saturday, but if you guys have something you want to see, we could definitely make that. A pot of gold soap, that would be cool. Just make a solid gold bar. Why waste time on the pot when you can just have all the gold? I am going to grab the plastic wrap really quick. I'll be right back. All right. I am back. Yeah, for St. Patrick's Day, right. Yeah, see, this is already starting to get solid, so it's perfect time to put the plastic wrap on. For Valentine's Day, why don't we do that? We could make the Valentine's Day soap on Saturday. I want to do something with hearts, and I'm still waiting for something to come in. But we can do a couple of different Valentine's Day soaps. Why don't we do one of them on Saturday, and the other one we can do when I get my supplies. Oh, that's cute, Tanya. I'll have to go see. I've been working so much, I haven't had time to, watch everybody's YouTube videos, which is always a bummer because I like seeing what you guys make. I'm sure Lisa did an awesome job, though. Her soaps are always spectacular. Yeah, Stacy, her channel is called I Dream in Soap. And she does a lot of very technically correct, technically perfect soap. She'll measure everything exact, and she'll make these designs that have like she'll pick a design like she did the one that keeps coming to mind whenever I talk about it is it's actually really cute. It was a tornado soap. It was a tornado and it had little cows and pieces of like fence and trees flying around in the air. And that soap must have taken her ages to make. But she does this method where she scrapes out soap. So she'll put soap in her mold and then she'll scrape out what she doesn't need. And then she'll put the pieces in and then she'll put more soap and then scrape it out. So anyway, you end up with this really cool design in the end that looks exactly perfect. It's so cool. She has a lot of beautiful soap artwork for sure. In fact, I can show you. I have one sitting right here. Let me finish putting this on and I'll show you. Yeah, Stacy, it's true. And what makes me really mad is I'll subscribe to like all of you guys and everybody like on Felicia's channel and all that, and then YouTube will recommend like news stories and stuff to me. And I'm like, I've never, literally never watched a news story ever. In fact, I click on them and I say, don't show these to me because I don't care about that. If I want the news, I'll go look it up. I don't want it recommended to me. So I have to go to my list of subscriptions and manually find all of you guys to be able to watch your videos. And anyways, that definitely does not help the situation. Okay, so a long time ago, Lisa made these beautiful soaps. I'm just going to grab it real quick. And she did some piping. It's gotten a little bit dusty because I won't use it. But anyway, she did some beautiful piping on them. And she also did a like layered soap that was like a kiss pour technique. I used that one. And her soaps are great, by the way. Like the actual formulation, like when you use them, they're very, very nice. Okay, I think I got the dust off. So I leave these on display, and I don't normally. Anyways, okay, so I've got a few. Usually, when I order soap from people, if there's like a really fantastic like design on the bar, a lot of times I won't use it, and I have like a little shelf where I keep everybody's like bars that they made so I can admire them forever. She did this wood grain pour, and then she put a rose trellis on top, and it was so pretty. And I got one. I was really happy. So here it is. This is from I Dream in Soap. I did an unboxing video of this also, so you can see. I'm sure in the unboxing video the colors and everything will look better because I used my better camera. But those are the roses. She piped them on like icing, and then those are the leaves. And then this is the wood grain pour. Here's her stamp on the side. And so this would have been the edge of the mold, but then this is where it was cut. And you have this really awesome, there's the bottom, this really awesome wood grain pour. And to me, it looked like fence posts with like roses growing along the top. And it smells like rhubarb. So that's one of the reasons I won't use it, because I just want to sit and smell rhubarb whenever I want to smell rhubarb. So yeah, I don't know if I'll ever be able to use it. I'll probably use it if it loses its scent, but so far it's been many months and it smells fantastic still. Yeah, it is really pretty, Stacy. It is really pretty. She did a great job. Oh, it just smells so good. Like, I had to find a good rhubarb scent. I think I saw one at, there was one supplier in the States that had a rhubarb scent, but I think it was strawberry rhubarb, so I don't know if it'll smell as good as this one, but I'll find out. Eventually, I'll try to get one. Yeah, the colors are beautiful. She used, like this white, and then there's at least one pink in here, and then she's got this purple and green, and then that matches the flowers and the design on the top. And this is probably, compared to the other soap she made, this is considerably, like, so much simpler than what she normally makes. But I love the idea of the fragrance, and I love the trellis design, the wood with the roses, and there was just something about it that just, every now and then I'll see something and I'm like, oh, that really speaks to me. So I grabbed it. She had a couple others that I wanted to get, but she's in the UK, so shipping is expensive, and it's also scary right now because packages are just disappearing, or getting delayed for months and months. So I was like, do I really want to risk it? It's going to cost me a fortune no matter what I order because of the shipping, and then to lose it because the package gets lost. That'd be incredibly frustrating. So, but yeah, she had a couple that were awesome. She had this one where, I guess I should just explain. So, depending on where you live, the laws about making soap are different. In the UK, soaps are considered a cosmetic, so they fall under different different guidelines and rules than they would in the States. In the States, soap is soap. It's not a cosmetic. So cosmetics and drugs are regulated by, I think, the Drug Administration or something like that. So the way that you label your products and what you're allowed to say about them is different. Soap is not. So as long as soapers continue to follow the rules of making soap, then we should be able to keep that privilege of soap just being soap in the States. So the reason that's really important is that soap does not have the same types of rules. So in the UK, so like, okay, I'll start over. So in the States, I can make soap, say, hey, this is a bar of soap, and I don't have to do anything special, really. I could just sell it like that. In the UK, it's regulated. So every time you come up with a soap recipe and you want to sell your soap, I'm sure you can make soap in the UK for yourself, like not sell it and it's fine. But if you want to sell it, they have to send off the soap recipe to be tested by, I don't know, they have some department where that goes to, and it's tested. And then from then on, they can, and it's very expensive to do. I think it's called an assessment or something. Once that's done, they can make that soap recipe, but they're not allowed to change anything. So one of the neatest soap she made was this. It was like a moon and like a mountain or something, and then there was like water, and it was this really intricate, beautiful design, and it came out gorgeous. But the problem is she was stuck with the color palette and the recipe in that design, and it's very very limiting because she can't she can't deviate from her recipe. So if she wanted to put blue in the water, she can't. She's stuck with the purples and the charcoal or whatever. And if she wanted to put pink in there, she can't. She has to stick with that recipe. So um she was explaining this, and I was just blown away. That's why a lot of her designs are so amazing, because she can come up with this, like, a beautiful design like this, but maybe this was not the original. Maybe the original was like green grass with a pink and white sunset or something. Who knows what the original design was? But she can use that same like color palette and same ingredients and come up with all these different designs with those limitations. And that's part of what makes a lot of her, especially like the older soap bars that she made like last year and before, were so awesome, was just because she was so limited, and she was forced to work within the confines of whatever that recipe said it was in it. um I think she's branching out now and doing something a little bit different. I know that one of the last videos I listened to, she said that she was going to be making the recipes, like making the soap bars and then getting them assessed, so that she could have a little bit more freedom, as far as like what to make and the colors to use. But it's an expensive process, and yeah, yeah, Tanya, Lisa is extremely clever. She really is. Let me see what you guys are saying here real quick. Yeah, Patty, making candles is a totally different like skill set. It takes a couple of tries. One of the easiest ways, it's time consuming, but one of the easiest ways to make them is just get like a tall container and melt your wax and get a string and tie it to like a stick or a rod or something, or even like a wooden spoon. And then just dip the string in the wax, then just like hang it. Use that like little stick or whatever to hang it on something. Wait for that wax to dry. It just takes a couple minutes, and then dip it again, and then dip it again, and you keep doing that, and then the wax will build up, and then you'll have this like tapered candle. It's an awesome way to make candles. It just takes forever, but it's kind of like fail proof. That was how I learned to do it. I'm just reading here what you're saying. Yeah, Stacy, it is really expensive to ship overseas. It really, really is. I've also had to go with like better shipping methods, like better tracking, or um like, and also paying for things like paying for the insurance and stuff, because I've just had so many things just disappear. It's very frustrating. Hopefully it'll get there safely. Yeah, Tanya, right, exactly. The candle making kits are also really good because they kind of give you everything, as long as it includes everything you need, like literally includes everything you need. Um, that really helps. Sometimes just having the right tools makes a huge difference. I'm just checking here. Yeah, Stacy, $200. That's outrageous. That's why I did. I think I told you about Easy Ship. Like, you can use third party programs like that. It's just a website you go to, and they'll find all the different couriers that'll ship over there. Let me see here. Oh no, Patty! Was that in your stove? That's horrible. Yeah, I would definitely start making the candles. Well, I guess you kind of have to put it on the stove, huh, to get it hot. Hi, Martha. I guess that's true, Patty. It'll eventually cook off. Just use the stove a whole lot. Just put it on the auto clean. Oh my gosh, Stacy. 100 years later, somebody moves the stove and they find this mysterious fork. Let me go get the soap that Martha made. That's the oops. That's the Whirly Spring Soaper who just hopped in. Let me go grab the soap. I've actually been using it because it smells so good. It's the has like that gingerbread smell. One second, I'll be right back. Okay. Ta-da! Put this back on. Yeah, see, it's got this really cute. She made this. It's got like a little fried egg, and then it's got these cute little waffles with like syrup. That's the word I'm looking for, and butter. And it's got this cute little donkey stamp. You can see like I've been using it, so it's not in pristine condition anymore because I've actually been using it. But it smells so good. I love I love gingerbread and spice breads. So every time I smell that, I'm like, oh my gosh, it smells so good. Really, Stacy? You could just make something up. They're never going to check it. That's what I did. I just put something in there. Just be like the crafty cat business. Martha, is your shop open right now on Etsy? Also, what I like to do is anybody who's got a channel or social media or something, put it in the chat so that other people, when they come by and watch this, they'll be able to find you, and that way we can help everybody get some more subs and stuff. Oh, good, it's open. Okay, so you guys should check out her shop. She has some really cute soaps in there. And if you like donkey milk, she's got some donkey milk soaps in there. That's something I do not make, so mostly because I don't have a donkey. I don't know where to get donkey milk around here. I guess I could ask 4-H, but I'm trying to get the air bubbles out of this little tiny soap mold that we were working with earlier. Okay. I think that's about as good as it's going to get. We'll see on Saturday if that turns out. We were just making soap dough. That's nuts, Tanya. I mean, it's good that they're trying to, keep everything above board and be safe, but if it's literally just soap, it just seems like an expensive and lengthy process. It's just kind of preventing other people from being able to do it if they want, especially for people who just want to do it for themselves. I'm so sorry to hear that, Martha. That's so hard. I wouldn't want to keep my shop open either. Yeah, the soap dough. So this is the stuff I had earlier. We were just talking about like this. I'm going to do some more projects, so this isn't going to last me much longer. So we made these little containers, and I already made the other colors. So like the yellow and stuff, I already have made. Yeah, that's not something that that is easy to just heal from. It sort of sticks with you. They say it gets easier as time goes on, but I mean, even years later, it's more like you learn to cope with it. It never really gets better, if that makes sense. And yeah, it's not. It's really really hard. Just reading what you guys are saying here. So Tanya, is it expensive just because the shipping itself is expensive, or is it because of like the red tape? Like, would somebody be able to buy it and just ship it to you as long as they like put the proper labeling on the package? Right, exactly, Patty. You just have a different way of living. That's a very good way to put it. I know that Tanya, to your point about shipping to Australia and to Tasmania, I know that that is one of the most expensive places for us to ship to. Um, and not only that, the shipping usually takes forever, which is really bizarre to me because you would think, I mean, it's not like you're not in the middle of nowhere, really. There are some places, some countries where they don't even have like a normal post office, and the packages are cheaper to ship there, and um, they get there faster, and it just I don't understand the reason. But I will say that typically the packages I do ship to, because we have had to ship some things to Australia, the packages do actually arrive, which is much better than some of the other countries that we've shipped to, where the shipping is cheaper, but it just never gets there, which is kind of pointless. So there is that trade off. Yeah, Stacy, in situations like that, when the person's like a real, like a part of your life, it's just like you lose. It's more than just losing like a person, like physically being there. It's like a whole way of living, like what Patty was saying. You have to kind of alter everything you do, and it's I think it's very jarring, and beyond just the sadness and everything, it's just uh, like your whole body has to learn how to do things differently. It's very very hard. Yeah, yeah. Patty, do they offer free shipping for like larger orders? That's awesome. It's good to know that the cancer in her liver is gone. That's really scary. That's probably a huge weight off of her shoulders for sure. Hmm. Well, if you could find out what her shipping like what her shipping is like. Sometimes it's like when people have $18 to ship, it could be for a very large order. So if there's other things you need and you can order them all at once, then the $18 shipping isn't as bad. Because I was doing that for a while with the flat rate shipping, like whatever I could fit in the box. So if she's doing the flat rate boxes from USPS, then that would be why. But the shipping is very expensive right now. It's really, really expensive. Like just for me to ship something, um, it's like people don't understand. Like I have to actually pay that shipping, or whoever you're ordering from actually has to pay that shipping. So that's the problem. Is um, on the one hand, it makes everything really expensive, but the post office won't ship anything for free either. So it just kind of sucks. That's why some people try to find things like local, but it's hard to find like good craft supplies locally. It really is hard. I'm just reading what you guys are saying real quick. Oh, Patty, she's in Australia. That would be why. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense now. That's actually $18 isn't that bad. When I shipped stuff to Australia, it usually cost me about $40 or $50 to ship there. So 18 actually isn't that bad. Yeah, it's true, Patty. A lot of places are closing down just because they either can't get what they need because it just isn't available, or because of the cost of having it, shipped and the weight that's involved. Like even some of the oils I need to order, they just aren't there. They're sitting on a dock somewhere waiting to be shipped. I'm just reading here. Yeah, shipping it to a friend. Yeah, I don't know about here. Like you can put something in an envelope and put a stamp on it, and that's cheap. But as far as like shipping to a friend, I don't think. Um, at least coming from the states, I haven't seen that because it's actually when I do easy ship, it's actually cheaper than if I were to take it into the post office most of the time. So I don't know how. I'd have to look into that and see if that's an option for us. Yeah, Patty, meat has gone way up. It really has, which is really kind of strange because about a year and a half ago, there were a lot of um, places basically trying to get rid of their livestock, and then now all of a sudden there is nothing, and it's so expensive. Everything is just so expensive now. Oh, that's awesome, Martha. That helps, but even so, like just the cost of the livestock is seems to be expensive. Seems to have been going up for quite a bit over the last couple of years. Have a good night, Melissa. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, it seems like the last couple of years, everything's just been going kind of crazy as far as what things cost and the supply and everything. Feeding them is expensive. I've never had to feed any livestock, anything bigger than a chicken. So at least not recently. Yeah, Stacy, it really is. The lumber is so high right now. Even metal, like if you wanted to do a metal fence, even that is expensive. When I wanted to build a fence, we just couldn't afford the materials. Oh yeah, Patty, that makes it harder. Well, I guess you could. I mean, I guess in theory you could have the whole animal and just sell off what you didn't use, but then you have to have the trouble of going and selling it. The cat food's gone up. Hmm, The stuff I've been feeding hasn't gone up too much. I think it's gone up maybe $1 or $2 for the larger bags from what for what I get. But I mean, I haven't really priced out the other brands. Yeah, everything's gone up at least a little, for sure. Well, hopefully when things start to calm down, the prices will start to stabilize a little bit. Oh wow, Martha, that sounds awesome. I bet that keeps you busy. But it must be nice too, just having it all, right there. Must be good to know where all of your meat is coming from and everything like that. Oh yeah, the wet cat food. Yes, that has gone up a lot. Yep, that I did notice. I was thinking of. I thought you meant the bagged stuff, but yeah, the wet cat food has gone up a lot. Yeah, it does help with their water intake. That's for sure. Yes, I would love to grow my own food. We've tried, but something always destroys the garden. So I've decided to give up until I could get a fence. Once I get a fence, I think I'll feel better about planting anything outside that's any more delicate than rose bushes. Oh, 9.5. That's so cute. I love how as they get older, their personalities tend to get stronger. Like they've figured out who they are, and so they just kind of they're just that more intensely. I guess is the best way to put it. Mine always did anyway. When they got older, they just became. If they were nice cats, they became nicer. If they were active cats, well, aside from getting becoming inactive because of age, but generally speaking, they just seemed to be whoever they were, but like more pronounced. It's really cute. I'm putting these on the shelf before I forget. Wow, 22. That's good for a cat. That's awesome. Stacy. They do. They really will. They really will beg for food. That's really good, even especially since she's outside. A lot of times when they're outdoors, they meet with some kind of foul play or another. But yeah, 22 is really good for a cat. There's generally a lot of like care that they need towards the end, and especially with things like grooming themselves and just But if they're happy, you can tell when they're happy.
Why doesn't her cat do that with for treats? They're all different, you know. I've actually met cats that didn't like treats too, which is kind of bizarre. Oh, that's so cute, Martha. We've taken in some senior cats before. I always feel better when they get, you know, a little bit of comfort towards the end. They seem to really appreciate it too, most of the time. Her cat is a diva. That's the default for a lot of cats. They know it too. They really do. Yeah, Tanya, I don't know if there's really any like local like candle supply and soap supply places like near me. Um, I've never really lived anywhere where there was one close by. And when they were more like warehouses. So I could go and order something and then go pick it up, but I couldn't. Like there was nowhere to go and shop. We have craft stores, but they typically sell like like melt and pour, or like they might sell candle kits or soap kits, but it's always like melt and pour stuff. It's not, you know, making things from scratch supplies. And a lot of times our grocery stores, our big box stores will sell lye, but it's usually a little bit on the expensive side, so I just buy it bulk instead. Yeah, you know what, Martha, that's the one. That's the one that I was thinking of was the Arizona Soap Supply. Um, but yeah, they're not really like, I don't think they're a true um like a they're not like a craft store where you can just go in and buy stuff. I don't think. When I looked at their stuff, because I can go online and order from them, um, when I lived out there, and it was always like come and pick it up, or I could pay to have it shipped. But yeah, it was too far. It was just too far, and then I had to go outside. And have you seen outside? It's like really hot out there. I was always afraid that the stuff would like melt in my car on the way home. Like, sure, you've got your oil and buckets, but if the buckets melt, you'll be in trouble. Michael's is okay, and Joanne's Fabrics is okay. Um, I mean, they're Joanne's obviously is good for like fabrics and fiber art and stuff like that. They have a lot of patterns, which is helpful if you want to make like clothing. Um, and Michael's has a lot. Michael's is what I was thinking of for like the soap and candle kits because they do sell them, or they did last time I was there. But they're all melt and pour. So I was never able to find things like, you know, like lye and like stick blenders and things like that. Walmart actually is better for that. We're able to get, sometimes you can get lye at Walmart, um, and you can get a lot of supplies there. But you know, like your oils and stuff, you can get there, but it's expensive. Yeah, Martha, exactly. It The summers are like that whole area. The summers are just so bad. Like I couldn't, I couldn't even function. It was horrible. That is an experience I never want to relive. Hello, June. Yeah, Hobby Lobby is also good, but again, they have like melt and pour type stuff. They don't have like the actual like make from scratch. I guess it depends. Like if you want to start with melt and pour, that's usually really good. It gives you an idea of like, you know, like using the molds and coloring your soap and scenting your soap, and you can kind of get the hang of the process. And then when you go to make it yourself, it's a little bit less daunting. So that's, you know, those sorts of kits are really good for that. Right, Patty, I do the same thing. I order everything online so that I can get what I need, and also it's usually cheaper. Oh, welcome, June. We're glad to have you. It's always great to have new people. If also, June, you might have missed it earlier. If you have any kind of social media, like a YouTube channel or like Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, where you post crafts or anything, if you want to share it with a group, you can, and then we can all subscribe to you and help you out. Yeah, Stacy, I have found a lot of cool stuff at the Dollar Tree. This little this little vase and the flowers are from Dollar Tree. Actually, they have some really good stuff there if you know what to look for. Yep, same here. Exactly, Patty. I feel the exact same way. Miserable the entire time. And that's actually where I started making soap. It was like the one escape from the misery. But I think what I hated the most was everything just gets ruined by the heat, and it just totally destroys everything. So it's so frustrating. And if you accidentally leave anything in your car, even just for a few minutes, the heat will ruin it. It just, anyways, I'm glad not to be there anymore. I don't have that problem anymore. Let's see. I'm just reading here what you're saying. So there are people in the States where we can have products shipped to, then they add their percentage on, and then they post out to you wherever you are in the world. Do you mean like, Tanya, do you mean like for the shipping? Like you send your stuff to them and then they charge the customer for the additional shipping? Or what do you mean? Sounds interesting though. Oh my gosh, Patty, of course. Of course. It was like, wow, you'll like this weather? You don't remember that, Stacy, from being 5 months old? I don't blame you. I wouldn't remember either. Right. Exactly, Martha. It's a dry heat. That just means it'll kill you faster. Exactly. Yep, and if you don't have tinted windows, your car will be ruined. Absolutely. I used to keep a sun shield like in the on the windshield, like on the inside, one of those like folding ones. And if I didn't put that up, I couldn't even touch the steering wheel. It'd be too hot. I couldn't drive. I literally have to cover the steering wheel, turn on the AC, and sit there and wait. The seatbelt would burn me. I'd have like burn marks on me. It's just stupid. Like it's the most. I don't understand. I don't understand why it's a good thing. Some people really like the heat though, but I'm not one of them. Oh, let's see. Just reading what you guys are saying here. Yeah, make you fun of the dry heat. Yes. Possums and kangaroos eat everything they can get. Yeah, I don't have the problem with kangaroos here, but we do have possums, and they do. Actually, they kind of mind their own business. Our problem is the raccoons will get into things. Squirrels. Actually, squirrels are the number one problem here for me personally. Get into everything. Just reading what you guys are saying again. Oh wow, Stacy. Yeah, the garage makes a huge difference just because the sun isn't beating down on the car. There are videos of people, parking their car outside and putting a little tray of cookie dough on their dashboard. And later on, they came back and their cookies were baked, and people thought it was a joke, but they don't understand that's real. Like you can actually do that. You can actually fry eggs on like the hood of your car or on like a rock. You can just go out and find a flat rock and fry eggs. It's a real thing. You can do it. People always thought it was a joke. It was like, no, you actually can. It gets so hot there. Allergic to the sun. Yeah, that will definitely put a huge damper on living anywhere that's got a lot of sunshine. Yeah, I would definitely avoid going out in the sun. Then the sun makes it worse. What was so bizarre to me was in the summers, it would get dark, and most places where you live, where you can live, when it gets dark, the temperature drops. But there, it doesn't really drop. Like it doesn't drop noticeably at all. So you're indoors in the air conditioning, and you're like, oh, it's nice and dark. I'm going to go outside and I don't know, walk to your car if you're at like a store or something. You just walk outside, and it's just as hot. You get hit with this wave of heat, and it's just like, how could it still be so hot at like 10 o'clock at night? That doesn't make any sense. It's just horrible. Yeah, you fry eggs on the sidewalk. Exactly, it's a real thing. You could do it. And why would you want to? Why would why would you basically want to walk around on a frying pan, the size of your whole state or city? It's just yeah, really hot. Exactly, Tanya. It is really hot there. I mean, it's not that way year round, obviously, but it gets to be that hot. And why would you be outside in that heat on purpose if unless you like the heat? But I don't want to live on a frying pan. I don't think the cat wants to live on a frying pan either. I think if I put this away, and it hardly ever rains. Yep, that's the other problem. And when it does rain, it floods. So then you've got flash floods, and you got flash floods that wash out the roads. And where we were, for some reason, you know how sometimes roads will have like, I forget what they're called, but basically it's a big like round tunnel that goes under the road, so like rainwater can go under the road. Well, instead of doing that, they would build the road with like a natural dip in the road so that the water can run over the roadway. So that meant every time it rained, nobody could get home, they couldn't get to work or anything. And then it would wash out the road. So when the water was gone, you had like potholes and things you had to drive over. It was just bizarre architecture. Yep, Stacy. A lot of the houses have pools, and they all have rocks instead of gardens because you can't really grow anything. So not without having a huge water bill. So everybody has rock gardens. Everything kind of looks the same. That's true. And nobody in Arizona knows how to drive. Yeah, Patty. Like once, I remember one time we got like half of a millimeter of snow, like by some fluke of I don't know. It just like we got snow one day for some reason, and everybody like everything shut down. School shut down. Nobody was out driving, and the people who were driving like 5 miles an hour. And it's like really, like this, the snow is basically melting when it touches the street, and it's not even that cold out. And people were just losing their minds. But if you're not used to driving in it and you don't never driven in it before, I guess it would be scary because you don't know what to expect. But it was just amazing. Like they just shut the whole city just got shut down. It was just so bizarre. Just reading what you're saying here. Yeah, 100 to 105. That's about 100 degrees too warm. Just reading this here. Yeah, Patty, I believe it. Yeah, in Arizona, you have to have working air conditioning because you literally will cook to death in your own house. So elsewise, it's too hot. Fans don't do anything; they just blow the hot air around. It's like having a hair dryer blowing in your face. It doesn't do anything. I do not know how people lived there before there was air conditioning. I really don't. I don't know what they did. I mean, did they just go underground for 3 months out of a year? I don't know. Because I would have, I don't know. Because I actually, yeah, I have major problems with the heat. I don't know how people were able to do it. Yeah, fans do make it worse a lot of times. It's true. It's true, especially when they blow. Like when people like, another example is like driving with the windows down. It's like hot sandpaper hitting your face. It's so, it's just so uncomfortable. Just reading here. Yeah, Stacey, I believe it. Yeah, I couldn't imagine not having air conditioning in places like that because the summers are also really, really long. Um, some places, like in certain parts of Arizona, you can get, in February it could be 80 degrees, and then it just never gets cold. It just stays that hot, and it gets hotter and hotter, and then it doesn't get like winter temperatures until like November or December. You don't start to drop off. It's still in the 80s, and then of course during the summer months you're getting above 100. And just to go that long with it being that hot and there's no relief. I couldn't imagine living without air conditioning there. It'd be crazy. Just reading here what you're saying. Yeah, so you guys all know about the heat. You know, you know how terrible it is. The one good thing about it, though, is you don't need to oven process your soap. It just sits on the counter and is hot enough to just it'll gel without any kind of help. What are you saying again here? Yeah, they put ice in all the drinks. Yeah, I mean you kind of have to because otherwise it'll be like really warm within like 5 minutes. It's just unpalatable, just nasty. I found those gel cups that you put in the freezer, and like the wall of the cup it has like this gel in it that freezes, and it keeps the drink really cold without watering it down. That also works. Yeah, there's a lot of cool places in all those areas, but I mean, take my advice and visit in January so you can actually enjoy it. There's not going to be any rain in January anyway, so you might as well just go then. There's a lot of cool stuff in Arizona. Like obviously you've got like the main tourist traps. So you've got like the Grand Canyon. You've got the mountains out there around the Grand Canyon that are really pretty. And then there's Karchner Caverns, and I don't know. There's a lot of stuff out there. There's like zoos and who knows what else. It's a lot of there's a lot to do there. But the problem is that it's just so hot. I remember I'd put my makeup on and walk out to the car, and by the time I got the car started and the AC going, my makeup was melting off, and I was just like, "This is unsightly. I cannot go out in public like this." But I didn't have a choice. I always felt gross. It's not a fun way to live for most people, I would imagine. Just reading what you're saying here. Yeah, Tanya, I get all of my important stuff. I get it online just because otherwise it's just too expensive. Dollar Tree is it's a dollar store, so it's very like mostly it's cheaply made stuff. We'll just be honest here. You're not going to get like you're not going to get super like high quality fancy anything from them, but they have things that it doesn't matter, like this vase. It doesn't matter if this vase costs like $1 or $20. It's just going to sit here. It's just a decoration. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need to be expensive. um and nobody's going to turn it over to see if it's a some rare fancy brand of vase, so it doesn't matter. um but there are some things there I wouldn't buy, but they have a lot of like cheap things that are relatively small. They sell things like buckets. They sell things like little plastic Tupperware containers, and like little like baskets. Like here, I'll show you. One of the cool things that they have there that is really helpful for me. Okay, so like these little baskets, um, so like these little trays with the holes in them. It looks like a basket weave, but it's just plastic. And you can put your soaps in there, and because of the holes, they can cure because they've got the holes underneath them, so you don't have to turn the soaps. You can just leave them in there, and those are $1. So, and they're also good for like taking the soaps. Like if you're gonna take the soap from one place to another, you put the soap in there, and then put that little container in like a fabric bag or one of those reusable bags or whatever, and you've got like a little soap tote. So if you're going to craft fairs or whatever, so you can get things like that are really cheap there, but you're not going to get like you know fancy soap molds or silicone molds there usually. Very, very rarely. Sometimes they'll have them for the holidays. I don't know if I have one here. Sometimes the dollar store will have silicone molds. They'll have like around Halloween they'll get like little pumpkin silicone molds. It's like a little. It looks like an ice cube tray. In fact, they are advertised as that. They're advertised as a ice cube tray, and it makes like little pumpkin shaped ice cubes. But they're silicone. You just use them for soap instead. So occasionally they'll have things like that, but for the most part, it's just cheap little things. But it's still helpful because then you don't have to buy the expensive one. You don't need an expensive plastic tray. It's not going to matter if it costs $1 or $10. Just reading what you're saying here, guys. Just reading here again. Yeah, Nurture Soap. Yep. Yeah, that's the problem. Like Nurture Soap has some really good stuff, obviously, and a lot of those places have really good stuff. But the shipping is just it just kills you. Yeah, and the reason they charge so much is because we get charged. Like when I ship, most of the boxes that I ship to Australia, which I know is not Tasmania, but it's like I haven't had to ship anything to Tasmania yet. It's the next closest thing I can think of. But the boxes I ship are between like 1 and 3 pounds, and I've had boxes that cost over $60 to ship. And the most a box has weighed is about a little over 3.5 pounds, like under 4 pounds. So if what you order costs like less than 4 pounds, it's probably costing Nurture Soap 50 or $60 to ship it to you, and that's why. It also depends on the size of the box. um, but the boxes that I use are just under the size for the next price increase. So that's why. It's just because it costs them so much, which really sucks because I mean, like I said, it's not like Australia. Australia is not like some weird place. It's well known, and you know, I imagine the mail goes there all the time. I'm just going back and reading you guys' chats real quick. Have a good night, Martha. Thanks for stopping in. Just reading here. Yeah, Daiso has a lot of fun stuff. Oh my gosh, be careful at that store. That's like Daiso Japan is like the little if you have a Daiso Japan store near you, that place is a trap. You go in there and it's just like I don't know. Don't be a hoarder and go there. Let's just put it that way. Don't be a crafter and go there. You will find everything. Yeah, Patty. It sounds like oh yeah, for the Daiso Japan, yeah, they do. They have a lot of stuff there that's like $1. Um, I bought a lot of like calligraphy stuff from them and a lot of stationery, and yeah, and a lot of like origami because I used to do like origami, little little I don't know, used to make little origami figures and stuff, and I got some really nice origami paper there. Like I said, it's a trap. I tell you, you walk in there, you're like, oh, this is only $1 or two, and then you know you walk out. But they have everything, and it's so much cheaper than buying it literally anywhere else. And yeah, Stacy, if you have if you have that many Dollar Trees, that's awesome. I only have one. Oh, I'm sorry. Stacy, you asked what's Daiso. Um, it's called like Daiso or Daiso Japan was what it was called when I was there. It's like a dollar store, but kind of like a dollar store, but they have a lot of like Japanese products. So you get a lot of stuff that's just cute and really unique stuff that you wouldn't get normally here. Like I was talking about the origami papers and the stationery, and they had these cute erasers that were like scented, and a lot of fun art supplies. I have them. They're in my art bin, but I have like a little bin with drawers that's in there. But they had like watercolor sticks, and they had I don't know, just everything art related they had, and it was all in like it was all cute and in cute packaging and just unique different things, just like different stuff. So if you're tired of going to you know places like regular craft stores or like the Dollar Tree or Walmart or whatever, and you're tired of seeing like basically the same stuff every time you go to Daiso Japan, and it's just like completely different. It's like still inexpensive, still really cute, um, and really fun stuff, but it's also just like completely different. So when you get kind of bored of what you're seeing at the stores, you go there and you're like, wow, like I didn't know any of this existed. It's so much fun. Yeah, some of it's a little bit more. But it's all cheap, yeah. Yeah, Tanya, hopefully you get a Dollar Tree. I'm surprised you don't have one. Like they're everywhere. Maybe we should write a letter to them, tell them to build one near you so you can have one. We have a Dollar General here, but I find that Dollar General is usually overpriced. Like it's more expensive than Walmart for most of their stuff. But every now and then they'll get something that Walmart doesn't have, and then you're like, okay, well, if it's something you can use, then it's fine. But usually they have like the same stuff Walmart has, but it's just more expensive. It's just convenient. They put them in neighborhoods so that if you don't have a car, you can just walk to Dollar General and get what you want. You don't have to arrange for getting a ride to the store. So they're a little bit more money because they're kind of. I think that's why their prices are so high is because they know that you're kind of stuck. You're forced to shop from them if you don't have transportation. Yeah, dollar stores do wish they were Dollar Tree. That's very true. Yeah, somebody said that some of the dollar stores were going, or the Dollar Trees are going to $1.25. I haven't been in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and I didn't notice the change, but it may be that ours has changed. I haven't checked. Yeah, Stacy, if they have sales, it's different. But like their regular prices, I found were a little bit high. But I mean, I almost know. Like I go there and get their clearance stuff. Like right after a holiday, you can go there and you can get some really good stuff on clearance. Have a good night, Lorna. Well, I should probably go ahead and end the stream. I've got to get back to work, sadly. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. But on Saturday, I'll be doing another live stream at 8. And the plan is to do either body butter or one of the Valentine soaps. So um, check back on Saturday for that. It should be 8 o'clock Eastern time, like usual. And thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out with me. This was a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys had some fun and learned something. And don't forget to leave comments of what you'd like to see. Oops, leave some comments of what you'd like to see me make. That way I can basically, make the stuff you want to see. So, all right, have a good night, everybody. See you Saturday.